I'm here with Vic from Sea Shepherd, and I love Sea Shepherd. We did a wonderful interview with Mark Muschamp where we were talking about whales and dolphins. It was absolutely fantastic. But at VEGFest today, you've got some different campaigns that you would like to talk about, and they're more local to British people. So can you tell me more about your campaigns?
Sure. So in approximately a week and a half's time, we'll be launching the Seal Defence campaign. It's the second year this campaign has run in Scotland. So in Scotland, the salmon fishermen have long nets that sort of go around the coast of Scotland, and obviously the salmon swim into them. They create a lot of noise, and it attracts the seals. Now the Scottish government give these salmon fishermen licences to shoot these seals, but there are conditions on this licence. So they can only shoot them if there are no alternative devices. They can only shoot them from land, not from sea. They have to use a specific gun, and there has to be no member of the public present. Now, we know for a fact that the company we targeted last year, which are USAN, the Wild Scottish Salmon Company, they were shooting seals willy-nilly, effectively. They were shooting them from land, from sea. We heard of toddlers witnessing seals being shot at the harbour. You know, they're obviously not meant to have anyone witnessing these shootings.
Are these baby seals or adults?
Any age at all. And they're obviously saying that they're eating the salmon, but autopsies have been done by St Andrews University on these seals, and they've never found salmon in their stomach. So last year we targeted this company. We followed them around for 6 months. Within 3 days of us being on campaign in Scotland, they stopped taking the gun out. So last year was a total success. So we're relaunching the Seal Defence campaign this year, and it's going to be a much bigger campaign. So we're going to have 6 houses around different areas of Scotland. We're going to be targeting more of the salmon fishermen or the seals shooters, and we are going to try and save as many seals as we can.
I've got to say that tallies in really quite nicely with VegFest, because of course it's all about veganism. Let's not eat meat, let's not eat dairy, let's not eat fish. And I think the thing that's the most disturbing about all of this is, again, it's humans killing animals for what they eat naturally, and it's just complete and utter human greed, and the animals are paying the price again. I mean, the seals were here before us. The fish is theirs. It's not us to take their fish.
The ironic thing about it is that the seals are not eating the salmon. So, I mean, that's the ironic thing about it. And all these people who are buying free-range, farm-fed salmon fillets from Waitrose. Waitrose actually buy USAN salmon, or certainly they were last year. They may have changed that since, but you're going to Waitrose and buying your salmon fillet and thinking that it's nice and healthy. Obviously it's fish, but they are shooting seals as a byproduct of that. And certainly the people I spoke to in Gardenstown, which is one of the main villages we targeted last year, they were telling me how the beaches used to be covered in seals, and they had hundreds of them, and people would come on seal watching trips, and there would be lots of seals and life there. I didn't see one seal in Gardenstown. The whole population's been decimated.
You know, I love seals as well. They're to me they're like dogs. When you look into their eyes, they have the just sweetest, most loveliest little faces, and it's absolutely disgusting that they're doing it in such a way. It's really cowardly, and especially if children are watching, that's really disturbing. You were also mentioning about campaigning the Faroe Islands. Can you tell me about that one?
Yeah. So last year, in the Faroe Islands, they herd in pods of pilot whales, and in the past they have also done white-sided dolphins, bottlenose occasionally. I think any pod they find, they will slaughter. They herd them into one of 23 bays in the Faroe Islands, and then they slaughter them.
Of course, that sounds like taji again, isn't it? Is it similar? Do they do it the same way that the Japanese do it?
It's very similar. They also create this wall of sound that the taji fishermen use. Obviously, the taji fishermen have the banger boats with the poles that go into the water. The Faroese are a bit more old school. They have ropes with rocks attached on the end, and that's how they create the wall of sound. And that's what they use to drive the pilot whales or the dolphins into the coves or into the bays.
This is not like in Japan. A lot of them are getting taken for SeaWorld or sea life. This is just purely to be eaten, to be slaughtered for food.
They don't make any. This is what they would say: is they don't make any money from it's called a grind or a grindfrap. So they don't make any money from it. They drive them in, they slaughter them, they actually carve them out and share them amongst the local villagers. It's quite a violent process, They say it's quick for the whales. We know they suffer. I mean, to be driven in however many miles is painful enough, but to then be witnessing the rest of your pod being slaughtered, I mean, it's a very brutal process.
How do the Faroe Islands stand as far as their law? Are they under Danish law, or are they under a law onto their own?
I think that's a question we'd all like to be answered, to be honest, because technically the Faroe Islands are independent of Denmark. They used to be under Danish sovereign, but last year when we were up there, the Danish Navy got involved. So I do not believe that the Faroese are totally independent. They still get financing from the Danish government. They get European money. Obviously, if this was happening in Europe, it would not be allowed. So last year we had a campaign in the Faroe Islands that started at the beginning of June and it went until the beginning of October, and we had over 400 volunteers from 30 different countries around the world. We had land crews watching from the land, looking for boats that might be going out to do a grind or watching for pods of pilot whales or dolphins. If they spotted anything, they'd contact the boat crews. The boat crews would then use the same process that the Faroese would use to drive them in, to drive them out.
This is so much like the hunt sabs, isn't it? Using the sound to distract the hounds. You guys work exactly the same, but with the sea life.
Absolutely, yeah. And we had great success last year. In 2013, the Faroese killed approximately 1,000 pilot whales and about 500 Atlantic white-sided dolphins. Last year, they killed 33 with us there. Now, 33, as far as I'm concerned, is too many, but it's a hell of a lot better than 1,500. So this year we've got another campaign that will be going up there. I'm not sure exactly what's happening yet because that's going to be announced in the next few weeks.
Well, I hope it's as successful as last year. I mean, 33, yeah, that's horrendous. It's still an awful lot of life. But I've got to say, from the previous year, that's a brilliant result, and it shows that you guys are actually making a really huge difference. I'd love to come out with you guys sometime and just be a part of what you're doing. And I feel very strongly. I've got such a soft spot for marine life. I just do. I loved WhaleFest when I was there. It was fantastic. There's something so spiritual, magical about whales and dolphins. You just can't put a finger on it. And the thing is, they're so trusting to humans, and that's the thing that breaks my heart the most. When you see how gentle and trusting they are to us and what we do back to them, I think that's the travesty of the whole thing. I wish you the best of luck in 2015. You've got my support, and I hope to join you guys. Yes, let's go.